So welcome to Conscience Formation 101. As promised in our video earlier, I said I thought I'd give you some tools to help you properly form your conscience. You know, day to day we make choices. Choices about what we're going to wear. I'm wearing my Roman collar today. Choices about what are you going to eat. You know, I've been a part of the Weight Watchers program for a long, long time. Sorry to say it, but I had a hamburger for lunch, so that was probably the best choice right there. Or there are important choices that you need to make in your life. Your vocation, your calling in your life. Are you going to get married to this person? Do you choose to have children? Do you choose this parish to be your home parish? Should I take this job? Should I move? There are all kinds of choices. And today I want to give you some tools that help you to make proper moral choices. And one of those choices that is out there for you right now is about whether you should come back for Mass or not, to follow the lead of Archbishop as he lifts the dispensation on September 14th. So let me talk to you a little bit about different approaches about how we make choices that affect our lives and our morality in life. You know, there are basically two different types of choices that we can make. Gotta grab my pen here. And there are two routes that you can make. The first route you can make, for lack of better wording, and pardon my French on this, is the what the hell approach. Now, what does that mean? What the hell approach? So what the hell approach is when you're faced with choices, it's not thought out in advance. It's just very spontaneous, spur of the moment. If it feels good, do it. You know how that saying goes. And it's oftentimes made under duress. It's oftentimes made under adverse situation. And then you regret the choice you made later. That's the what the hell approach. Have you ever made a what the hell choice? I have. I know you have as well. And indeed, we regret it. And then we take it to the confessional and we confess it and trusting in God's love and mercy. So what the hell is the first approach? Then we have another approach, which is what we call the conscience formation choice. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about what is conscience. Most of us, when we think of a conscience, we might think of things like the id, the ego, the superego, Freudian term to think about conscience. We might think about right or wrong choices. You might think of the angel and the devil on your shoulders. You might think of the emotion of guilt. So that might be the things that come to mind when you think of the word conscience. Let me share with you what a conscience is not. A conscience is not something that is based on the emotion of guilt. You know, and oftentimes we think of that emotion when we are determining whether we have done something right or wrong. Moral theologians tell us that that really is not a proper way to form your conscience. Why? Well, first of all, there are people who do never feel guilty at all about a choice they make. You know what we call those people? Psychopaths. They are. They're psychopathic personalities because they are not able to distinguish right and wrong. And so they don't have the capacity for doing that. Then we have those who will feel guilty about everything. You know what we call those people? Catholics. Right? Or Jews or Protestants, you know, but we feel guilty about everything. I'm one of those persons, you know. I'm overly scrupulous with things that I've done. I feel guilty when I'm not able to answer the phone that is ringing right now on me, and I'm thinking, who am I missing, and who should I be talking to? So I feel guilty that I can't get to the phone while I'm giving you this lecture. That is somebody who is feeling guilty about everything. And it's not an appropriate way to determine whether you have properly formed your conscience or not. So let me talk a little bit about the three ways that we can properly form our conscience, okay? There are three basic steps. So step number one. And I'm going to apply this to whether we should go to Mass or not. That's going to be my example, which applies to all of us right now. Should I stay home? Should I continue to watch it live stream? Should I come and take the risk to come, even though I might be one of the vulnerable? How do we deal with that? And how do we make a proper choice with that? So let me first of all tell you about the type of conscience that we're not looking for. We're looking for a properly formed conscience. So there are those who feel guilty about everything. Scrupulous personality, people who are confessing everything and confess regularly, and they confess the same thing over and over and over again because they feel guilty about everything. That is a guilty conscience. That is not a healthy conscience. Then there is what we call the flabby conscience. Now, I know I have some of my flab back after all this time with Weight Watchers, but the flabby conscience, again, is like that psychopathic personality. They don't feel guilt about anything. Then we have those who have a rationalizing conscience. And those are the people that say, that they will say, well, I deserve this, Maybe it's somebody who is a recovering alcoholic and had a long day and had a rough week and said, you know what, I deserve this drink. They're rationalizing why they can make this choice. That's not a healthy conscience either. And then there are those who have what is called a legalistic conscience. And we as Catholics fall into that category very readily. Just tell me, Father, what I should do. And I think that's the easiest approach. I can tell you, if you don't go to Mass, it's a mortal sin. Or I can tell you, you must go to a Mass and you'll just do it because that's what the church teaches, that's what canon law teaches us, that's what the gospel teaches us. Keep the Sabbath holy, and therefore it's black and white, and there's no gray in between. So that's the legalistic conscience. Tell me what to do, this is the law, and I will follow it. Again, that is not a properly formed conscience. So let's talk about what it means to properly form your conscience. 3 steps to do so. So we're going to use that example of Mass attendance, okay, as the example. So the first step in every time you properly form your conscience is to brainstorm. Suddenly I can't write. So brainstorm your possibilities, okay? So take the idea of going to Masses. Let's take a look at what are your choices about Mass attendance, okay? So let's think about what might be our choices. We could say, I'm going to continue to stay at home and watch the Mass online, okay? So you can say, here's my choice to watch Mass online. I'm going to come to Mass, go to Mass in person, okay? Then there might be something in between where you will say, I'm going to give it a shot, see how it feels, see what it looks like, and see, do I feel safe here? Is my temperature right, Have I been sick? Do I feel safe in this environment? And give it a shot, and then determine whether I want to come back or not. So you may want to say, one of my choices is simply to check it out in advance, okay? So you take a look at all the possible choices, brainstorm them, write it down, and give your sense of all the options, okay? So that's the first step in doing that. Now, the next thing what you have to do in the stages is check out your resources, okay? So who are your resources? What are the experts saying about whether you should go to Mass or not? So who might be some of the resources you might listen to in helping you to make a right choice for yourself? So who might we listen to? Okay, we might listen to the CDC. We might listen to the health department for Waukesha County. We might talk to your doctor saying you have conditions that don't warrant you to be going out in general. You need to be extra careful. You might talk to your pastor. You might watch this video. You might check with a dear friend or a neighbor and say, what are you going to be doing? So look at all your resources and then check them out and talk to them and do your homework. check out your resources. Then the third step is you have to prioritize these. So not every resource carries the same weight, right? You might not, if you have a pre-existing condition or you are elderly and you are anxious and nervous about that, would a neighbor's opinion carry the same weight as your doctor, your physician, who says, you know what, we should probably wait and see? You have to prioritize that. One of the things that the Catholic Church says is that part of your prioritization should always include what the Catholic Church is saying about all this. So listen to the Archbishop. Follow the directive, follow the matrix. That's what we are doing here as the leadership team here at St. Anthony on the Lake. We're looking at the health department, we're looking at the state, the CDC, and we're looking at the directive given to us on the matrix by the Archdiocese of Milwaukee. So we review all that and we say, well, which ones carry more weight? And then prioritize it, okay? So you've got that third one. And then now what we're going to do is the final two. What you then do, once you prioritize your resources and which ones carry the most weight, then what you do is pray. Take it to God. Say, here are my options. I've checked out the different resources. I prioritized it. Now I give it to you, Lord. Take it to prayer. Have that conversation. Have that dialogue. And then out of that prayer, come to make a choice. So which is the final step, and that is you must act upon that choice that you have made. So let's say you go through all of these steps of brainstorming, checking out the resources, prioritizing it, praying it, and you come up with a decision. And the decision is in contradiction to what the church teaches. What do? Do you do what the church teaches, or do you follow your properly formed conscience? What does the church teach about that? Guess what the church teaches? You must always follow your conscience. Surprise? They say to not follow your properly formed, not a flabby conscience, not a rationalized conscience, not a scrupulous conscience, but a properly formed conscience that has gone through all these stages. And if you do that and you come up with this choice and then a decision, even if it contradicts what the church teaches, you must follow that. So if you say through all of this, due to X, Y, and Z, I prayed about it, I've consulted, and I feel right now is not the right time for me to return to church, guess what? You must act and follow your conscience. Even Thomas Aquinas, the great theologian, taught that. And so that's a quick review of all the things that we need to do to help us properly form our conscience. So my advice for you, as you're thinking about, do I come to church in person or continue to watch online, is not to take the what the hell approach. Don't wake up Sunday morning and be stretching the bed and just going, oh, I just want to read the paper and drink my cup of coffee and I'll catch the math when I want to. Don't do that. Don't do the what the hell approach. You'll regret it later. But rather, think in advance, talk with your spouse, talk with your family, make it a group decision or whatever, or talk with your God. Pray about it, think about it in advance. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait till that Saturday or Sunday or the following weekend and say, what are we going to do today? Think about it in advance, follow these steps, and then act upon it. Know that the church is here for you regardless, always, with open doors. Of course we want your return. Of course we want these pews filled. We want that power of gathering at the table. And we want you to experience the full sense of Eucharist and community in the body and blood of Christ, and in word and in sacrament, and in the presence of one another, and yes, even me, the presider. We want you to have that, but we do understand that if you're not ready for those various reasons, you've formed your conscience, we'll be here with doors open, ready and waiting for you. I hope this was helpful for you, and it helped you to make some choices, not only about Mass attendance, but about lots of issues and lots of choices in life. So, good luck with making your choices. May the Holy Spirit guide us all to make good, right choices. Hope to see you at Mass soon. God bless.